What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel. And with that being said, man, in this episode, man, I want to talk about this young lady, Jonai Carrington, right? And some people are calling her Dirty Carrie, not Dirty Harry, Dirty Carrie, because of her play on the court, right? And so I went back and I looked at some of her plays. Now I did see like the play when they said she poked what's the Caitlin Clark in the eyes, right? And so I was like, maybe that was a mistake, But I'm like, for her to have like those long, long nails like that, I don't know if that's really, safe. Even if it was inadvertent, I don't think they should have allow those girls like during basketball season to have those nails that long, and with the pointy edges, right? So, like I said, I'm looking at the some of the plays that they call dirty, right? And a lot of people have been saying, they don't think that she should be in the league, that Dejanay Carrington should be in the league. And so the second play I looked at was the play where she um she came up behind the young lady and she had like her left hand in the young lady's bag and she swiped across the top and hit the young lady in the head. So, and I'm thinking like as a basketball player and you on a fast break, you jump to shoot a layup. If somebody touch you, a slight touch can throw you off balance. So number one, she had her left hand in her back, and she know that if you bump somebody while they're in the air, that's just dangerous. And then when you hit them across their head, you swatting for the ball, and you don't really have no vertical, so it's not like you up with the ball. So I thought that was a dirty play. So then you got two dirty plays. Then the other play when I saw is when she grabbed a young lady's hair, you know. So and she grabbed the young lady's hair while she was falling to the ground. She pulled the lady's hair, and to me, I thought that like that was a dirty play too, because like what was the purpose of doing that? Like it just wasn't a basketball play. It was unnecessary, and I didn't think it was necessary. Then I saw she was playing against Skylar Diggins. Skylar Diggins had a breakaway layup, was going to score, and she come burling into Skylar Diggins with her body. She had both her hands up, but she bumped Skylar Diggins from behind. She couldn't block the shot. She couldn't get to the ball because she was coming from directly behind Skylar Diggins, and Skylar Diggins kind of had the ball like in an underhanded position, like she was ready to just throw it up off the glass. So all of those plays that I looked at, I can just say that I just think they was dirty plays, right? But now you get to the point like, all right, should she be kicked out of the league, like some fans are saying? Um, I don't know if she should be kicked out of the league, but I do think that the WNBA should definitely legislate those kind of plays out of the game, right? Because as a basketball fan, you don't need to see those kind of plays. You are there to appreciate those women's their talents, their physical abilities, what they bring to the table. Like the hard fouls and stuff like that are not really necessary. Like before she started making these kind of fouls, like she was known as a very good, solid defender. She's quick, she's got really good lateral movement, Dejanay do, and she's long as though she can affect your shot. And so she don't have to foul you to do that. So she can play you tough on defense without even without fouling you like that. And so I think the WNBA really and I don't want them to wait until somebody get hurt before they try to legislate those kind of plays out of the game. I don't want them to do that, but I do think that the WNBA is going to have to legislate those kind of fouls and that kind of play out of the game, because like pulling hairs, poking people in the eyes, um, jumping on people's backs and pushing them in the back while they're in the air. Like somebody is going to get hurt, and it's only a matter of time. It's not like if they get hurt. It's just a matter of time. We on my weekend podcast, me and the fellas, we was talking about like how I don't know Kurt Rambis when he played for the Lakers, right? Los Angeles. Kurt Rambis was they used to call him Superman because he looked like Clark Kent, and he wore those because he had those glasses on. And he got fouled. He just got clotheslined. And that was a famous play. Like when I don't know if the Celtics did that to him. I think it was the Boston Celtics who clotheslined him. I'm not sure. I don't want to put that charge on him if they didn't do it. But that fight, I mean, that foul right there caused a big brawl, right? And so you gotta legislate those kind of fouls out. That's why in the NBA, like they got breakaway. It's a foul. Not only do they get to shoot, but they breakaway foul. You get to shoot too, and you get the ball back. And if any kind of flagrant foul, then you're gonna shoot. You're gonna shoot technical fouls. So that right there, I think, is something that the WNBA is going to have to do, like those breakaway fouls, giving the opponent the ball, and ejecting players out of the game, so they get the message that those kind of fouls just not a part of the game. And so I don't think the WNBA is going to kick her out the league. I don't even think like at this point, I don't even think that the WNBA is really saying anything to her. But I think what's going to have to happen is like the fans are going to have to reject that kind of play, put pressure on the WNBA. So the WNBA be like, look, that our that's not what they want to see. You know what I mean? That's not what they came here for. So, you don't want to see players like Caitlin Clark or Skylar Diggins. You don't want to see them hurt, and you don't want to see them miss games because somebody pushed them in the back or poked them in the eye. You just, fans don't want to see that. And so, and you already seen like when Caitlin Clark missed those games, like attendance, and she didn't miss a game because of the young lady, but she got hurt, you know. But when she did miss games, attendance, ticket prices, everything dropped. So why would you put your league at risk? If somebody could get hurt, why would you put the league at risk? You're risking attendance, you're risking money and stuff like that. So it don't make sense. I think, like I said, I don't know if I think they may suspend her if she continues to, keep playing like this, just so she can get the idea that that's not really what they want them to do. They don't want to see that kind of play, you know what I mean? So people calling her dirty Curry, you know, really not going you know, it's not going to stick if she changed the way she played, but even Dennis Rodman, I remember watching Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman wasn't a dirty player. Dennis Rodman was somebody who got under your skin. He annoyed you. As if you played against Dennis, he would do little silly things to get on your nerve and get under your skin, and to give himself a mental advantage over his opponents. But he wasn't dirty, at least not once he got with once he left Detroit. He wasn't dirty because the culture of basketball changed. Like those fouls that Detroit was doing against Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, like the league legislated that stuff out of there. And so they couldn't do that. And Dennis Rodman was an intelligent enough ball player to know that, I can play defense. I don't have to, physically, like push people, or like one time Dennis Rodman hit Scottie Pippen in the head and put a big knot on Scottie Pippen's head. And ever since then, Scottie Pippen did not like Dennis Rodman. As a matter of fact, Scottie Pippen didn't even want them to bring Dennis Rodman to Chicago when they played. But Dennis Rodman, he adapted with the times. He changed his game. And so I just say that to say maybe this young lady, Jonai Carrington, she'll have the opportunity to do the same thing. But I don't think the league is going to put her out. I think that she'll, they're gonna give her and other players around the league who they think are playing, going over the top with their physical play, give them an opportunity to to correct themselves or and play the right way. I don't think they're gonna put them out. You know, I think they'll get them the opportunity, like I said, to correct themselves. But that's my take on it. I know a lot of, especially Caitlin Clark fans, a lot of Caitlin Clark fans want to run her out the league. I don't know if the WNBA going to do that, but I do think that the WNBA needs to make an adjustment though, as far as that, dirty plays. Some of that stuff is just not. It wasn't basketball plays, and yeah. So that's my take on it. With that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment, and I will check you all out in the next video. Peace.